What if everything you believed about intelligence, its allure, its promise, its supposed gateway to a better life, was completely wrong? What if being intelligent, or even striving for genius, wasn't the golden ticket we've been led to believe, but instead a hidden burden, a quiet curse, a source of deep and unshakable unhappiness? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might just find yourself questioning whether intelligence is a gift worth having at all. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of history's most enigmatic and controversial philosophers, held a view so radical that it continues to rattle even the sharpest minds today. He proposed a chilling idea. Intelligence, far from being the blessing we celebrate, carries with it dangerous undercurrents. These hidden dangers, Schopenhauer argued, could strip away our peace, rob us of happiness, and even dull our ability to truly savor life. Today, we will unravel Schopenhauer's unsettling secret about intelligence, what he saw, why it matters, and how it might forever change the way you think about your own mind and the world around you. Born in 1788, Schopenhauer's philosophy was forged in the crucible of a world marred by suffering, uncertainty, and disillusionment. While his contemporaries painted grand visions of progress and enlightenment, Schopenhauer's gaze remained fixed on the shadows of the human condition. He wasn't interested in telling us what we wanted to hear. There would be no comforting myths of boundless human potential from him. Instead, he offered us uncomfortable truths, and one of his most jarring revelations concerned the true cost of intelligence. To Schopenhauer, intelligence was not just about solving problems or gathering knowledge, it was a double-edged sword. Yes, it had the power to elevate us to great heights, but it could just as easily hurl us into the darkest depths of despair. He believed that the more intelligent a person was, the more sharply they felt life's inevitable suffering. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that the more you understand the world, the more isolated or disillusioned you become? That's precisely what Schopenhauer meant. Here lies the paradox he uncovered. Intelligence expands our awareness, but it also intensifies our sensitivity to life's imperfections. The brighter the light of our understanding, the darker the shadows it casts. An intelligent mind, according to Schopenhauer, sees through illusions, the comforting stories we tell ourselves to make life bearable. It perceives the hollowness of chasing endless desires, the fleeting nature of success, and the inevitability of loss. While this heightened awareness can lead to profound insights, it can also leave us feeling adrift, overwhelmed, and disconnected. Schopenhauer's philosophy intersects profoundly with the concept of existential dread, a term later explored by thinkers like Søren Kierkegaard and Jean-Paul Sartre. The more we comprehend the universe and our tiny place within it, the more we are confronted by its vast indifference. This weight of awareness, Schopenhauer argued, presses down most heavily on the highly intelligent. It can even erode the ability to find joy in life's simplest pleasures. Where a less intelligent person might find contentment in the rhythm of daily routines or the distraction of shallow pursuits, an intelligent person often sees through these facades, finding them empty and unfulfilling. But does this mean intelligence is inherently bad? Not exactly. Schopenhauer understood its value, but insisted we recognize it for what it truly is: a tool, not a cure. He believed that many intelligent people fall into the trap of leaning too heavily on their intellect to navigate life, convinced it will guide them to happiness. But happiness, he argued, is not born of knowledge or clever reasoning. It is rooted in something much simpler and, paradoxically, less cerebral: peace of mind. Consider this. How often have you been lost in a spiral of overthinking? How many sleepless nights have you spent replaying scenarios in your mind? analyzing every detail, second-guessing every decision, hunting for answers to questions that have no answers. Schopenhauer would call it the curse of intelligence, a restless mind that never ceases to search, even when there is nothing left to find. And now, you might be wondering, if intelligence is truly this double-edged sword, should we abandon the pursuit of knowledge altogether? Should we strive to become less aware, less conscious of the world around us? Schopenhauer's answer is as practical as it is profound. He didn't advocate for abandoning intelligence, but rather for learning how to manage its impact. He believed that tranquility, a state of inner calm and detachment, was the only true antidote to the chaos stirred up by an overactive mind. Tranquility, according to Schopenhauer, begins with accepting life's harshest truth. Suffering is an inescapable part of the human experience. Instead of resisting it or trying to think our way out of it, we must learn to live alongside it. When we stop viewing suffering as a problem to be solved, we begin to see it as a fundamental part of existence. The second step is even more challenging, recognizing the limits of our understanding. No matter how sharp or insightful our minds may be, there will always be mysteries beyond our grasp, questions that remain unanswered. Embracing this uncertainty can free us from the exhausting and often fruitless pursuit of certainty. But Schopenhauer didn't stop there. He urged us to shift our focus away from grand achievements and intellectual victories. Instead, he suggested we find meaning in life's simplest moments. The fleeting beauty of a sunset, the quiet resonance of a melody, or the warmth of a conversation with a loved one. These are the treasures that even the brightest mind cannot improve upon. The irony, of course, is that while intelligence can strip away the veneer of life's illusions, it is often the simplest experiences, not the profound revelations, that bring the most genuine happiness. Here's where Schopenhauer's philosophy takes a surprising turn. He believed the ultimate form of tranquility lies not just in finding peace with life's uncertainties, but in letting go of the self, the very part of us that craves understanding and control. This radical notion drew heavily from Eastern philosophies, particularly Buddhism, which Schopenhauer admired deeply. By transcending the ego, he argued, we could break free from the relentless cycle of desire and suffering, a cycle that intelligence, with all its analytical power, often magnifies. So, what does all this mean for you? How do Schopenhauer's insights about intelligence apply to your life? Take a moment to reflect. Has your intelligence, or your incessant drive to analyze and understand, ever left you feeling more burdened than fulfilled? Have you ever wished you could simply turn off your thoughts, even for a moment, and find peace in just being? If so, you are not alone. These questions cut to the heart of Schopenhauer's philosophy and reveal why his ideas remain so compelling today. Share your thoughts in the comments below. This is a conversation worth having. And keep watching, because we are only just beginning to peel back the layers of Schopenhauer's hidden secret about intelligence. What he revealed next might not only change the way you see your own mind, but could transform your entire understanding of existence itself. To truly grasp Schopenhauer's perspective, we need to dive into one of the core pillars of his philosophy, the will to live. For Schopenhauer, this will is the fundamental force that drives all life, a blind, insatiable impulse that pushes every living being to survive, reproduce, and strive, often in the face of relentless suffering. This will is neither rational nor compassionate. It is an unyielding force, indifferent to our happiness or well-being. In his own words, we are slaves to the will, caught in an endless loop of desire and dissatisfaction. And here is where intelligence changes the game. For a less intelligent person, life might be simpler. They might pursue desires and enjoy life's pleasures without questioning their deeper meaning. But for the highly intelligent, the story is much different. Their heightened awareness allows them to pierce through the comforting illusions of the will, exposing the emptiness of chasing one desire after another, only to be left perpetually unfulfilled. This clarity, however, comes with a heavy price. It often creates a profound sense of disconnection between the intelligent individual and the rest of humanity. After all, how do you relate to those who are content with the surface of life when you constantly see its deeper, often darker truths? This disconnect can turn the intelligent person into a perpetual outsider, someone who feels more like an observer than a participant in their own life. In the human experience, the highly intelligent are often burdened by insights that most people never confront. Insights that lay bare the absurdity and fleeting nature of existence. But here's the twist. Schopenhauer believed that the very intelligence that isolates and weighs us down also holds the key to transcending the will. How, you ask? Through the transformative power of art and contemplation. Schopenhauer saw art not merely as a form of entertainment, but as a profound escape from the ceaseless demands of the will. When we immerse ourselves in art, whether it's music, literature, or the visual beauty of a painting, we enter a state of pure perception. In these moments, our desires and the incessant noise of the will fall away. We are granted a rare kind of freedom, a chance to simply observe and appreciate life without the heavy burden of striving. For a fleeting moment, art offers a sanctuary where we can exist outside the cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. Take music, for instance, which Schopenhauer regarded as the highest form of art. He described it as a direct expression of the will, capable of bypassing language and intellect altogether. Unlike other art forms that merely represent the world, music connects with something much deeper within us. It resonates with our innermost being, offering a glimpse of solace in what often feels like a chaotic and unforgiving existence. Think back to a time when a piece of music, a painting, or a powerful story moved you. For those brief moments, the whirlwind of life seemed to still. You felt connected to something greater, something timeless. Schopenhauer believed these were not just fleeting pleasures, but profound opportunities to step outside the cycle of suffering and touch a higher truth. But there's more. Schopenhauer argued that intelligence, when properly directed, could cultivate a state of detachment, a practice he called quieting the will. This involves taking a step back from the relentless ambitions and desires that drive our everyday lives. Instead of constantly striving for more, Schopenhauer suggested embracing a mindset of acceptance and tranquility. By quieting the will, we liberate ourselves from the endless loop of craving and dissatisfaction. It's a radical idea, especially in a world that celebrates ambition, success, and the unyielding pursuit of goals. The notion of stepping back, of doing less, can feel almost heretical in our achievement-obsessed culture. Yet Schopenhauer's wisdom reminds us that true fulfillment doesn't come from achieving more or knowing more. It comes from letting go of desires, of expectations, and even of the need to make sense of everything. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt crushed by the pressure to achieve, to keep climbing higher, to always be better? What if the answer isn't to do more, but to do less? What if the secret to happiness isn't found by adding more to your life, but by simplifying it? Think about that for a moment. Share your thoughts below, because this is a conversation worth having. As we continue, we'll explore Schopenhauer's connection to other great thinkers and how his ideas on intelligence have influenced modern psychology and philosophy. His work has endured through centuries for a reason. It taps into the universal struggles of the human condition and offers a path to peace that is as relevant today as it was in his own time. Here's the most fascinating part. While Schopenhauer's ideas can feel heavy, even bleak, they ultimately lead us toward a profound sense of liberation. By acknowledging the hidden costs of intelligence and learning to quiet the will, we can achieve a state of clarity and serenity that few ever experience. But how do we bring this wisdom into our everyday lives? What practical steps can we take to apply Schopenhauer's philosophy and transform our relationship with intelligence? Stay with me, because what comes next might just be the most important revelation of all. Let's now delve into the real-world applications of Schopenhauer's teachings, how his insights about intelligence and the will can reshape the way you navigate your daily life. If you've ever felt trapped by your own thoughts or overwhelmed by the weight of your mind, this is where Schopenhauer's philosophy shifts from abstract theory to tangible guidance. Schopenhauer believed that true liberation begins with a kind of awareness that goes beyond surface-level observation. It's not just about seeing the world around us, but recognizing the deeper, often hidden patterns of the will that shape our lives. Most of us, whether we realize it or not, spend our days chasing after desires, wealth, status, recognition, convinced that achieving these external goals will bring us lasting happiness. Yet Schopenhauer revealed a harsh truth. Even when we grasp what we desire, the satisfaction is temporary. The mind, never content, immediately sets its sights on the next goal, trapping us in an exhausting and endless cycle of want. To break free, Schopenhauer proposed a radical shift in perspective. Instead of perpetually reaching outward, he urged us to turn inward, to shine a light on our own desires and examine them without judgment. He suggested asking ourselves, why do I want this? What do I truly believe it will bring me? This simple act of introspection can be transformative. It often reveals that the things we pursue are not genuinely our own desires, but are instead born of societal pressures or fleeting impulses. By confronting this reality, we begin to loosen the grip of the will, stepping back from its relentless pull. However, Schopenhauer warned that awareness alone is not enough. To truly transform, we must cultivate what he called mindful detachment. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent to life. Instead, it involves engaging with the world while maintaining a sense of distance, an ability to participate without being consumed. One of the most effective ways to develop this detachment is through meditation or quiet reflection. When we sit in stillness and observe our thoughts as they drift by, we create a subtle yet powerful space between ourselves and the mind's ceaseless chatter. Over time, this practice builds a calm and centered perspective, helping us remain steady even amidst life's most chaotic moments. Schopenhauer also believed in the profound power of intellectual and artistic nourishment. He argued that art and philosophy could elevate us above the suffering of the will. Engaging with great literature, immersing ourselves in music, or exploring deep philosophical ideas is not merely an escape from reality. It is a way to connect with the eternal truths of existence. When you lose yourself in a piece of music or a moving story, you experience something rare, a moment of transcendence where you step outside the noise of daily life and touch something timeless. For Schopenhauer, these moments were more than just fleeting pleasures. They were glimpses into a higher state of being, opportunities to quiet the will and find genuine peace. His insights also extended to how we connect with others. One of the hidden costs of intelligence, as we've discussed, is a profound sense of isolation. Highly intelligent individuals often struggle to form meaningful connections, feeling perpetually out of place or misunderstood. Schopenhauer's solution to this dilemma was simple yet profound. Cultivate compassion. He believed that recognizing the shared suffering of all beings was the key to genuine connection. When we see others not as competitors or obstacles, but as fellow travelers on the same difficult journey, our perspective shifts. This shift doesn't require us to dull our intelligence or lower our standards. Instead, it invites us to use our understanding to bridge gaps, foster empathy, and build authentic relationships. But perhaps Schopenhauer's most challenging idea was his concept of renunciation. He believed that the ultimate path to liberation lay not only in letting go of desires, but in releasing our attachment to the ego itself. This idea, heavily influenced by Buddhist philosophy, which Schopenhauer greatly admired, challenges the core of Western thought. The ego, with its constant cravings for validation, achievement, and control, is, according to Schopenhauer, the primary source of our suffering. By loosening the ego's grip, we can uncover a deeper, more enduring peace. Renunciation, however, does not mean abandoning life or retreating from the world. It is not about becoming a hermit or rejecting ambition and relationships. Instead, it is about approaching life with a spirit of detachment and humility. Instead of clinging tightly to what we want or resisting what we fear, we learn to accept things as they are. It is an art, the art of holding life lightly, of engaging fully without the desperation to control every outcome. This acceptance, Schopenhauer argued, is the highest form of wisdom. It is through this acceptance that we not only quiet the will, but also find the freedom to live a life that is not dictated by the endless cycle of desire and dissatisfaction. Think about it. How often do you find yourself tangled in worries about the future, or haunted by regrets from the past? How much of your mental energy is spent trying to control things that are, ultimately, beyond your grasp? Now imagine what it would feel like to release that burden, to stop resisting the flow of life, and to simply allow yourself to be. That is the profound peace Schopenhauer envisioned, a state of tranquility not found in escaping life's difficulties, but in embracing them fully. Here's the twist. While Schopenhauer's philosophy is often branded as pessimistic, it's actually deeply empowering. By confronting life's harshest truths and accepting them as they are, we can discover a kind of happiness that is far more resilient than the fleeting joy of external achievements. This isn't a happiness built on temporary pleasures or changing circumstances. It is a deeper, more enduring contentment rooted in understanding, acceptance, and the quieting of the will. It is about finding stillness amid the storm, clarity amid chaos. As we near the end of this journey, it's worth pausing to ask, what does it truly mean to live an intelligent life? Schopenhauer's answer might surprise you. True intelligence, he argued, is not about amassing knowledge or solving every problem. It's about wisdom, the wisdom to see life as it is, to embrace its complexities, and to find peace within them. It is the difference between merely thinking and truly understanding, between knowing and being wise. So, as we wrap up this exploration of Schopenhauer's hidden secret about intelligence, consider this. Intelligence is undeniably a gift, but it is also a profound responsibility. How you choose to wield it, whether to chase after fleeting goals or to cultivate lasting wisdom, will shape the trajectory of your life. If this resonates with you, take a moment to share your thoughts. Have Schopenhauer's ideas shed light on your own experiences with intelligence? Have you felt both the burden and the blessing of seeing the world with clearer eyes? Let's keep this conversation going because these are the questions that have the power to change not only how we see ourselves, but how we engage with the world around us. And remember, as Schopenhauer wisely taught, sometimes the greatest truths are not found in what we achieve, but in what we learn to let go of. Now, let us weave together the threads of wisdom we've uncovered and delve into how Schopenhauer's insights can reshape our understanding of intelligence and, ultimately, transform our lives. His philosophy reveals a stark yet liberating truth. The pursuit of knowledge and understanding, while undeniably noble, does not guarantee happiness. Instead, it often leads to a deeper awareness of life's intrinsic struggles. But here lies the paradox. This very awareness, which at first may seem like a burden, is also a gateway to transcendence. To truly embody Schopenhauer's teachings, we must immerse ourselves in his core principles, not as distant philosophical concepts, but as living practices that transform our everyday lives. Schopenhauer believed that life is an intricate dance between light and shadow, joy and suffering. True wisdom lies in accepting this duality rather than resisting it. Every moment of joy carries within it the potential for loss, and every sorrow conceals the seed of growth. This acceptance is not about giving up or surrendering to fate. Instead, it is about engaging fully with life, but without the illusions that lead to disappointment. When we stop expecting life to be a perpetual stream of happiness, we liberate ourselves from unnecessary pain. We learn to savor the fleeting moments of peace and beauty, not despite their transience, but because of it. The cherry blossoms are more beautiful because they do not last. The laughter of a loved one is more precious because time is always moving forward. This is not cynicism, it is clarity. A recurring theme in Schopenhauer's philosophy is detachment. Much of our suffering, he argued, stems from our tendency to cling to desires, relationships, ambitions, and even to our identities. Detachment does not mean abandoning these things, but learning to hold them lightly. Imagine holding a butterfly in your hand. Grip too tightly, and you crush it. Hold it gently, and you can appreciate its beauty without causing harm. This is the essence of detachment, to engage deeply with life without becoming enslaved by it. It is the art of participating fully while understanding that nothing truly belongs to us, not our possessions, not our achievements, not even our thoughts. Everything is borrowed, and recognizing this can set us free. For Schopenhauer, the pursuit of higher meaning was not an indulgence, but a necessity. Art, philosophy, and self-reflection were not just intellectual hobbies. They were lifelines. These practices allow us to step outside the ceaseless demands of the will and connect with something greater than ourselves. When you lose yourself in a symphony, become absorbed in a novel, or sink into deep contemplation, you are not escaping life, but enriching it. You are touching the timeless, the universal, the sublime. In those moments, you transcend the limitations of your individual existence and brush against the eternal. It is a rare and sacred experience, one that intelligence, when guided by wisdom, can help us achieve. One of Schopenhauer's most profound insights was the transformative power of compassion. Recognizing the shared struggles of all beings opens us to a deeper connection with the world. Compassion is not just an act of kindness toward others, it is an act of liberation for ourselves. When we see others not as competitors or obstacles, but as fellow travelers on this difficult journey of life, our perspective shifts. Compassion dissolves the boundaries of the self. It allows us to break free from the isolation that intelligence can sometimes bring. Instead of standing apart, we become part of a larger whole. Our intelligence then serves not to isolate, but to connect, not to judge, but to understand. The ultimate goal of Schopenhauer's philosophy is not to escape life, but to find peace within it. This peace does not come from avoiding desires, but from quieting the endless demands of the will. Practices like mindfulness, meditation, or simply spending time in nature can guide us toward this state of inner calm. Imagine sitting by a still lake, watching the water mirror the sky. In that moment, your mind is quiet, your heart is light, and the world feels whole. This is the kind of peace Schopenhauer believed we could all experience if we learned to quiet the will. It is not the absence of desire, but the mastery over it, a tranquility that comes from knowing that while desires may arise, they do not have to govern us. As we conclude this journey into Schopenhauer's hidden secret about intelligence, we return to the question, is intelligence a gift or a burden? The answer, as we have seen, is both. Intelligence can isolate us, burden us, and reveal uncomfortable truths about life, but it can also elevate us, liberate us, and connect us to the profound beauty and mystery of existence. The choice is ours. We can let our intelligence become a source of suffering, or we can use it as a tool for growth, compassion, and transcendence. Schopenhauer's teachings remind us that true wisdom lies not in escaping life, but in embracing it fully, with all its contradictions. So, as you move forward, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. How will you use your intelligence, not just to understand the world, but to transform it? How will you quiet the will and cultivate a sense of peace and purpose? And perhaps most importantly, how will you connect with others, not despite your intelligence, but because of it? If these ideas resonate with you, let's continue this conversation. Share your thoughts, your questions, and your own experiences with intelligence and self-discovery. Together, we can explore the deeper truths that make life not just bearable, but meaningful. As Schopenhauer wisely taught us, the greatest insights often emerge from embracing the paradoxes of existence. Intelligence is not merely a burden, it is also a beacon, lighting the way to a deeper, more authentic life. Thank you for joining us on this exploration. We hope it has sparked something within you, a curiosity, a question, a quiet sense of possibility.